Well, hello there. This is Month Hattan, one of the newer members to the Empires and Puzzles community. Um, I went on a journey over the past couple months to get to where I am today. Basically, to sum it up, uh, I watched all the videos, how to build my base, what to prioritize iron versus ham, what to do with my training facilities, all that good stuff, where to farm. Um, Looked up, some pretty cool hero grading sites. Anchored Games has a great site. A lot of good 5-star grades, 4-star grades. A lot of really exciting stuff that, in my opinion, is more end game. So there was just a huge void, and so my goal today and onward is to really fill that gap between some of the beginner level content that's out there and the end game content that's out there. So I want to tackle the middle game meta, have a conversation with you guys, really build a community, provide resources that are aimed at maybe that entry level, free to play, cheap to play player, or that player like me that's probably playing a little above his pay grade, being a couple months in, that's really looking to try to find some cool content to talk about and discuss and put out there for the community, that really, again, focuses on that mid-game meta, the how to work with 5 stars or 4-star teams, how to build things that are effective, build teams that are effective for Titans, war hits, and all that without being able to ascend anything, honestly. Fully ascend like a 5-star. I mean, I'm starting to stack up with 380s, but I'm waiting on the mats. So my game right now, my excitement is Titan kills. I would say 8-star Titans is a sweet spot. Trying to get that B score, get a chance at those Ascendant mats. I'm the Titan quartermaster, my second alliance in the game, and everything's going good. So, that's where I'm at. So let's get into it. I'm gonna my first project is really to build some monthly content that really looks at the upcoming month as a whole. What to look forward to as a new player or kind of a mid-level player. What to get excited about. Where are the potential potholes? Where to spend your time and energy. If you got a little bit of a budget, maybe where you get the most bang for your buck. Stuff like that. So with October coming up, I just put together information from my perspective that I thought would be really helpful that I was trying to find. I couldn't find it, so I just jumped in there and created it myself. So the 2020 calendar of event, for me, this content's going to start with October. So as of a few hours ago for me, we're officially into October 1st. I'm excited about it for a few reasons I'll bring up. But what's top of mind is really the launch of Atlantis Rises again, which from my perspective as a late early game player or beginner mid game player, this is an exciting event, and I really think it's an exciting event for not only players like myself, but every level of player, for the main reason that Atlantis is by far, hands down, the best event as far as getting double XP, getting the most bang for your buck with all your world flags that you want to use. If you're running out of recruits or you're trying to stack up or refill that supply of the backpacks that are so few and far between, especially when you're getting a couple heroes that are real expensive to basically level up with all your resources, especially being a newer player. Something like Atlantis comes along. This is really, where you start cooking with gas, at least for a couple days. So definitely something to take advantage of. Definitely something that I'm most excited about. And I got a lot of value out of it in the first month I played. The second month, now I'm going into my third month. So I have every intention to take everything that I've learned and really pile it into this and boost my my character level up and just start getting some of the stuff that I need for the heroes mainly. I did finally get my stronghold to level 20, which I think it was about a month and 3 weeks that I got that, which I would say from what I've seen is probably ahead of the curve a little bit. But now it's time. I've done some pulls, I've got some heroes, so it's time to build on that. The other cool thing about Atlantis obviously is the summons. Me myself, I've had horrible luck with Atlantis. It's just low odds of getting that good stuff. I've yet to get a core 5-star Atlantis hero. But what's cool about this month is, the 4 featured heroes, although the chances of actually getting one is still pretty low, it's actually a pretty good group of heroes. We got Atomos, we got Kageburado, Neith, and then we've got Zimkitha. So, the one thing I'll mention before I get into kind of my take on these heroes and why I like them is just to kind of send out a public service announcement to stay away from the chase. The chance of pulling one of these 4 heroes is 1.3%. The chance of pulling like a Kageburado, for example, if I was going for him, I'm starting to be realistic, and I'm trying to spread the word to my friends that play the game and other people in the alliance. Don't chase. It's a 0.325% chance. That is extremely small that you're going to get one of the 4 that you really want. 1 out of 308 pulls. I mean, come on. I got better odds if I go to Vegas. Probably play roulette or something like that. But it's not a negative against the game. It's just I want to try and bring observations from a player that is not I wouldn't even say I'm cheap to play. I mean, I've put some time and investment into the game so far. But I'm also trying to be kind of a word of or a force of sanity or realism to basically players that are feeling a little bit overwhelmed as far as they're not getting any heroes to build a team, and they're thinking, oh, I need to pour more money in or take chances. I mean, you got to go into this with a realistic expectation of what you're working with the odds. So you'll probably see through a lot of my content, I always just try and kind of look at the numbers and kind of bring some level-headed thinking to the whole endeavor that we all seem to find ourselves on. So with Atomos, he is a A-star or an A-rated hero. He's barbarian, which if you do have the ability to look at the emblems, I mean, he's got the wound that comes with the barbarian, which is pretty nice. It's a bleed effect, which is essentially like a dot or a damage over time. His special skill is Immortal Annihilator. He deals 150% damage to all enemies. The more mana the enemies have, the more damage they will receive, up to 270%. If he dies during the next 5 turns from when he casts his special skill, he'll actually be resurrected with 32% health. And then all those status effects, if he had any negative status effects on him, I mean, they're essentially cleaned off when he dies. So when he comes back at 32% health, he's clean and ready to go. That's actually pretty cool. His mana speed is slow. Speaking of mana, I mean, I just want to throw in kind of something I've come to terms with as far as being, like a relatively new player, is I really got into the thought track of, it's fast or very fast mana that you have to look at. And if you get a slow hero, whether it's a 5-star, 4-star, you really have to stay away from that. Although I do agree that there's probably in the end game, at the top of the ladder, fast and very fast is probably a pretty accurate meta. But for the mid game, when you're dealing with like full stack mono teams, slow speed mana heroes really aren't too bad. I've actually started to really appreciate them and start to try and build in those heroes as far as what I'm working with. when you're throwing up tiles with a full stack mono team of a certain element, you can afford to have one or two slow heroes, and you're really not putting yourself at like really any big disadvantage. Of course, if you get a bad board and you don't get the tiles you need, I mean, that's inevitable. But most of the time, I'm able to go up against teams 500, 700 power above me and do pretty well consistently, even with a hero or two with slow mana. So that's my thought on that. I'll put it to rest, but I just wanted to throw that in there while we were talking about mana speed, and this specific hero just happening to be slow. Atomos is part of the Atlantis family, so his bonus when he's paired with other Atlantis family heroes is plus 5, 10, 15, or 20% defense, depending on which or how many of those heroes are in there. So that's pretty cool. The next hero that's available this month featured is Kageburado. So Kageburado is another A-rated hero. He's barbarian, so he's got the same wound effect when you're looking at the emblems path with the bleed effect. And he excels in like a flank or a wing position. His special skill, Break Strike, actually dispels buffs from a single target. He deals 225% damage to the target, and then he deals 450% damage if the target has more than 50% health remaining. So that's pretty good as far as a single target. I'm kind of full personally on a lot of sniper type positions, but definitely that 450% damage. I mean, where that comes in is for a mid-level player when you're going up against Titans. The fact that his mana speed is very fast as well. I mean, a Titan's always going to have more than 50% health, or at least you could say, for all the flags you use for the first half of the Titan are going to be more than 50% health. So it's a significant boost in damage. And also, as part of a team, as far as a mono dark team, he comes in pretty handy. I mean, that's pretty good to really take a big chunk out of those heroes, at the beginning of a match. He's part of the Sakura family. So with that family bonus, it's plus 2, 4, 7, or 12% mana gen. That's good, except for really the only hero I have personally that if I got Kageburado, which I don't have, if I got him, it would be cool to pair him with Mitsuko, because she's part of that family. And I have I think I have another 4-star that's part of that Sakura family, but don't really have a lot where I can really dive too deep into that mana gen. But my assumption would be there's probably going to be more heroes that come out in that family that would be more in the 5-star family. So that would be something long term that I could take advantage of. But overall, I mean, mana gen is not bad. If you've had some good luck with your mana troops, where you have one of each color or a couple of dark, for example, then the family bonus kind of goes out the window. Maybe you don't need it as much, but and you definitely don't need the mana gen boost on Kageburado. I mean, he's already very fast. Come on. So the next hero is Neith. Now this hero has a B rating. My suspicion is that the B rating again is based on how the hero grades are currently done by some of the better, more basically the top players that have been playing for a year and a half, 2 years or more. So the B rating really comes in like if you have a bunch of other heroes that are 5 stars that are really good, I can see how Neith would be a B. From my perspective, Neith is a really good character, or really good hero. It's a ranger, or she's a ranger, so she has Pierce, which basically means, on the emblem path that you're able to bypass shields, or like a Tur special ability, you're able to bypass a counterattack sometimes, so that's pretty good. Neith excels in the tank, flank, or wing, or better said, she really doesn't excel in one position. She's just like basically a little above average in each one, so just depending on what other heroes you have, you can kind of just mix and match and put her wherever, in any position that you want. Her special skill, Sickle of Eradication, deals 150% damage to all enemies, which is pretty good. Reduces mana of all enemies by 10%. That's not so great. It's not bad, but it's just it really reducing the mana by 10%. I mean, it is all enemies, but unless you're pairing it with another hero that's also taking the mana down by another like 10 or 20%, I mean, 10% really isn't going to be significant. You're not going to notice it. All enemies get minus 35% accuracy for 4 turns, and a chance to miss also applies to offensive special skills. So that's pretty good, that it's all enemies. I guess the thing that I would say to be careful of is just pairing Neith with like Justice, if you have her kind of as your early team, or June, or somebody that puts like a bigger accuracy down. My suspicion is that if you fire Neith off after that, it would actually reduce that effect and replace it. So you just want to kind of be careful with that. The mana speed average, neither good nor bad, just kind of in the middle. Obviously, with some holy mana troops to pair with her, then you're doing even better. With Zimkitha, again, another 5-star legendary with an A rating. Zimkitha is a druid, so she has the companion ability that comes with the emblem path, which is essentially just adding a thorn minion, which is pretty good. She deals 155% damage to all enemies, and her attack is pretty high. So that's for me, for a fire team, I would definitely, out of all the heroes, I think based on my needs, I would be the most excited if I could get Zimkitha. She dispels status ailments from all allies, which is good, and her element link recovers 4% health for all fire allies for 6 turns. So that's pretty good. I mean, it's not going to hurt. Recovering some health, I mean, 4% isn't that great, but it's something. So, and it can't be dispelled, so that's good. Mana speed fast, that's obviously really good with her. The fact that she's doing pretty decent damage to all enemies, and she can fire off pretty regularly as long as you're getting those fire tiles. So with in addition to Atlantis, also what's coming up this month is October 8th through the 12th. We have Fables of Grim Forest. I have not had an opportunity to see this event, so I'm kind of excited for the new shinies on this one. I think the heroes, some of them look pretty cool. I plan on doing some more in-depth mid-game meta views of the different events as we go. But for this first video, I just kind of want to go, kind of give a overview, concentrate on really what's happening in the next few days, and then what's coming down the pipeline. October 15th through the 19th, we have Tavern of Legends. That's always pretty good for the newer players because it gives you a shot at some of those old heroes of the month that are more than a year old. It's kind of a tricky situation because some of the older hero of the months have kind of not aged well. And then some of the better ones, like some of the top tier meta, if you're trying to chase those, I mean, those are, heroes of the month that basically people got this year or early part of this year. Teleria is a good example of that. So, I mean, those for a newer player, we can't even, go after those potentially or get lucky and get those until next year anyway. But there are some pretty good heroes in the Tavern of Legends. I wouldn't say it's the best event, but as far as trying to get some of those all-stars, not a bad thing. October 19th through the 21st, we have the costume event coming up. I would say hands down as a new player, this is the most exciting event that I had the first couple months. I did a couple pulls in it, and I pretty much got what I needed. I got my Ryguard costume, I got a Kashrik costume, and I didn't get the Boral costume, don't necessarily like or want it because I have the base, but I did get the Kirill costume, which is pretty good. So I'm pretty comfortable with the costumes I got. I got the Kageburado costume, which is nice. I'm not going to use the costume version, but I'm certainly going to finish leveling off the costume side of it, so I get that costume bonus for the base Cade. Because Kageburado, as a mid-level player, has really been good. You know, he's single target, but I love the fact that he dispels all the buffs off of all the enemy team. So I fire him into the wing. He's saved my life so many times on my nature teams. October 22nd through the 26th, we have Valhalla coming up. Valhalla is another really good event as far as getting a shot at some really strong 4 and 5-star heroes. The theme of the heroes is really cool too. I have a good friend that plays the game, and he's relatively new. I would say he's pretty strong in the cheap to play category, but he loves the heroes, and he's telling me about that as far as just the aesthetic and the type of heroes, you know, kind of that Nordic or Viking type. And I would agree. I really like those heroes. Not only are their special skills pretty cool, but they're just fun heroes to kind of, you know, as far as maybe the kind of the role-playing side of it, they're just fun heroes to use in your group. October 26th through the 31st, we have Return to Merlovia. This is probably the event that I'm least excited about as far as the month of October. Not too excited about what I've seen with the heroes that are available. I think there's a new one that might be coming out this month. It's Frank. That's I guess it's a take on Frankenstein, but he's an ice hero. Looks pretty interesting as far as the heroes that are already out though. Definitely not something that if I had some budget to, you know, try and take a you know, a 10 pull or do a, you know, 2 10 pulls even, you know, for heroes, I probably wouldn't be using them on Return to Merlovia at this point in my game, just because between Costume Event, Valhalla, and Tavern of Legends, I mean, there's just better stuff to use if you're on a budget, especially, and if you're cheap to play, you really gotta pick your summons really carefully. So in addition to the events, I wanted to touch on the rare quest. So from a mid-game perspective, these rare quests are so great in terms of getting access to like 3 and 4-star Ascendant materials. I really think that the 4th and 5th stages, which are the hard and very hard, really aren't that hard. I want to say the toughest one is 3,000 or 3,200 team power. Which, you know, that's doable, and you don't have to worry about saying, oh, I got to spend gems to try and brute force it, which I would never recommend with anything in this game, based on what I've learned so far. But, you know, you can comfortably go in if you've had some decent luck over the first couple months of play. You can get past these through these rare quests and get those Ascendant materials that are basically predetermined, so you kind of know what you're going in for. But I like these rare quest events. So Far Home is going on right now, and then coming up on the 10th we have Mount Umber. On the 19th we'll have Strikewood, and then the 28th is Frost March. So outside of the summoning portals, these rare quests are the things that I'm most excited about. On the other end of the spectrum, the trials for a mid-game player, the trials are frustrating because the trials, basically you can get a stab at, or take a stab at a couple different emblems on the lower levels, but the difficulty on the tiers from one tier to the next ramps up extremely fast on trials. So the trials are really aimed for the late mid game or the early end game type player. It's, you know, it's one of those the rich get richer events in this game. It's really not designed, I mean, you can't handle it as a player that, you know, doesn't have like a full team of 4 stars. Even if you have a full team of 4 stars ascended, you can get about halfway through maybe. After that, you just can't do anything. At least I haven't had good luck, you know. So maybe there's secrets I haven't discovered, but for right now, trials will be something that I get a lot more excited for in a few months from now. But for right now, I see them, I go in, I do what I can, do a couple of the stages, and I just quit and just wait for the next one to get a couple more. So as far as the trials, as far as what's coming down the pipe, on the 7th we have the Trials of Strength, which are barbarian and fighter focused. On the 11th, Trials of Fortitude, which are cleric and druid. On the 14th, we have Trials of Mysticism, which is the wizard and the sorcerer. On the 18th, we have Trials of Serenity, which is the paladin and the ranger. 21st is Trials of Survival, which is barbarian and rogue. And then on the 25th, we have Trials of Piety, which is the monk and the cleric. So I'm the most excited about October, not because we have a new legendary dark hero. I'm excited because Bao Young is gone. I got to the point in September where I wasn't necessarily having great luck on pulling 5-star legendaries, but I was having absurd luck pulling Bao Young, like on everything. One Bao Young that you can level as a mid-game or early game player, and then maybe a backup that you can have just kind of keeping reserves is great. Anything beyond that is just frustrating. You can't do anything with it, and it just tears your soul out to feed a 5-star hero to another 5-star. You don't want it. You just want to kind of keep all those that you have. But when you're looking at like 6 or 7 Bao Youngs, I mean, oh come on. So thank you October for getting here. So October brought us basically the new dark paladin, which is Zulag. So Zulag really fits into the tank role. Zulag's special skill is Fast Ward. Basically, the caster and nearby allies regenerate 612 HP over 4 turns. The caster and nearby allies get plus 46% defense for 4 turns. The caster and nearby ally get plus 74% defense against special skills for 4 turns. And the element Link summons a dark minion for all dark allies with 5% health or HP and 5% attack inherited from the caster. I'm not personally excited about Zulag. I think it's a good hero. It's probably a good tank. I got lucky and got Kunshin. I think in the end of my first month. So that's where I'm at as far as the dark tank. If you don't have a good dark tank and you're a relatively new player and you do end up getting Zulag, great. Multiple Zulags, I don't want to run into that problem with. I would rather have multiple Bao Youngs than multiple Zulags. I think it'll be nice to have Zulag as far as the hero of the month. I do try and get each one because I feel like over time the odds of those hero of the months really turning into like those top go-to heroes later is pretty high. What I'm not impressed with so much with Zulag is I don't really like the caster and nearby allies buffs or heals. If you put her as a tank, you really leave your wings exposed. It never really is going to make sense to run multiple healers just so you can cover that. If you did do that with Zulag, you're going to have to put Zulag in a flank and put another healer on the flank so you have your whole team covered with heals. I mean, it just doesn't work well. So, that's a main reason why I would never use Zulag over Kunshin, because Kunshin heals everybody. So, but other than that, I mean, Zulag, average speed, not good, not bad. Innate resistance against sand, I don't know. I don't think anybody's getting excited about that. That's just me. I'm sure given time, we're going to start seeing some ratings there, but I don't predict that the top players are going to be rating Zulag above maybe a B or B+. I don't know. I just don't see it. But, I'm learning. So I figured it would be kind of fun to jump in and just do one pull, one pull on Atlantis as kind of an experiment, and do it recording it and with the intention of sharing it. My expectation with Atlantis is this is going to be a good example of how rare it is to get good heroes. And I'm basing this off of the fact that any of the Atlantis pulls I did before this, I got nothing. Absolute nothing. I don't even think, maybe I got like one featured hero, last month. But anyway, Atlantis has been horrible. So I'm hoping for two scenarios. One, it'd be great if I could get some heroes I'd be excited about, just get crazy luck. I don't count on that because the odds are so tiny. But it would also benefit to, have a pool of feeders, although that kind of stinks if it happens. But I think it's probably closer to reality. So sometimes the truth hurts, but if it's setting a positive or accurate expectation for the player community, or some people that are newer that really kind of haven't really experienced how low the RNG or how bad the RNG can be, I think it's better than people spending time watching back-to-back best case scenario summons portals where people are pulling 3 or 4 5 stars. So I love to watch those videos. I've kind of moved away from it now, because I've kind of seen everything. But I would say if you're going to watch the summon portals, make sure you watch an equal number of the bad ones or more of the bad ones than the good ones. So let's get into it and see what we can do, and then we'll call it a day with this video. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a 30 pull. Let's see what we got. All right, feeder. I will not be surprised if I don't get a 5-star, but I won't be upset either, because I'll use these for feeders. And like I said, reality is not getting a whole pile of 5-star legendaries. So all right. So there we got it. We got a good case study, guys. And girls. So I got a whole set of feeders. Now the good news is that I did do a pull earlier, and with the intention of using it as my first video. But being a newbie, I actually messed up the sound. What am I trying to do here? I messed up the sound. So there was no audio. But I did manage to... Where is... Okay. I think I just scrolled right past her. Where in the heck? There we go. That's what I was looking for. So yeah, so I got my Hero of the Month pull. Honestly, I think I'm probably done for pulls for this month, just because I have really, as far as setting a budget or setting expectations, I've really tried to focus on trying to get the Hero of the Month and stopping, and really getting away from any temptations to chase any heroes, because chasing... anybody that tells you chasing is a horrible idea and the odds are low, they are trying to be a friend. They're trying to lead you in the right direction, and it's true. So I'm good. I'm actually happy. I'm kind of glad. That's why I wasn't really too stressed about doing a 30 pull and having a bunch of feeders to kind of show you guys what the reality is. But with that said, I'm going to do some follow-up videos as the month goes on, as the events come up. Just really trying to get my feet wet with the video editing. Really trying to get a good cadence and start to get some really tight content. But I appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully you still stuck around. And if you do like kind of the approach, or what goals I'm trying to do for the community, the best support, obviously, like every other YouTube channel out there, is just like and subscribe, and just check it out. Or don't even like and subscribe, but just comment if you see something that I do or say that you're like, that makes sense for you because you've been playing a couple months, but after you're playing a year and a half, there's actually a different way to look at it. Please share it, because it not only helps me as a player, I can take it back to my friends or take it back to my alliance, but then it also just helps the community, as far as anybody else that might stumble across that comment, and was thinking kind of along the same lines as me. So anyway, I'll close it out for today with our nice, beautiful picture of Zulag. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you guys back on some of the future content that's coming out in the remainder of the month. All right, take care, guys.